What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. Xbox is taking the approach of moving their games to the PlayStation platform. I've seen a lot of people talk about how this strategy is not one that is healthy for Xbox, but I think there's something that's missing. In fact, I was actually told by one of my audience members that I'm not looking at it from a bigger picture, that I'm looking at it from a very narrow perspective. I actually think that anybody who desires that Xbox keeps its games on its platform exclusively without trying to go out there and make more money is actually looking at it from the narrow perspective. We're going to take a case study of Tango Gameworks. This is a studio who actually launched a very solid game called HiFi Rush. Everybody right now knows that that studio was almost fully closed down until another publisher went ahead and acquired them. The thing about games is, if HiFi Rush had a multi-platform release, I think the game would have done better and the studio would have stayed in business under Microsoft, seeing that the game basically appeals to a very select kind of gamer that is available on the Switch and potentially available on maybe PlayStation. But it was already too late. By the time they decided they were going to move those games, it just seemed like the studio was not in a position to rake in money to keep them afloat. We also saw that Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice's developer, Ninja Theory, actually made about $26 million in revenue. Where did most of that money come from? It wasn't from Hellblade. Apparently, they are a visual effects / mocap or whatever studio, and they actually provide services in that area. Apparently, that's been the biggest chunk of the money that they've been making in their own business. The idea here is that studios require funding to stay open. If they don't get funding, they get closed down or they get cut down in their size of employees. You see, HR is not cheap. For those of you who are on the Xbox side, who continue to think that Xbox needs to keep its games on the platform, you need to start buying 2 or 3 copies, because here's the reality. There are not enough players on Xbox to be able to sustain expensive games. Yes, cheaper games that have live service aspects to them, or at least games that have, say, microtransactions and even third-party games can continue to run the Xbox ecosystem. But if Microsoft is going to be making these many games and paying for them now that they've actually decided to expand their game library from what it was from the Xbox One days, then things have to actually change. I hate to be the one saying this because I'm a huge PC player and I enjoy a lot of the third-party titles that come out from everybody else's libraries, like from Software, EA, even sometimes you see me in the CD Projekt Red realm, and even maybe some of the Ubisoft games. So I'm not necessarily bothered whether or not Xbox is bringing these games. However, if they're bringing the games, their business strategy lines up that they're finding ways to sell them. And if they are finding ways to sell them and they sell very well, then their talent can remain where it is. Unless, of course, that talent is one that's really pivotal to making, say, some kinds of flagship games. But a lot of these titles, for the most part, are experimental. Some of them are very expensive. Like the rumor with Indiana Jones, to me, makes a lot of sense because it's a licensed game. And if anybody knows anything about these licenses, they're not cheap. If we remember when the unfortunate leak at Insomniac Studios showed what PlayStation was paying for the Marvel Spider-Man license, even if the Indiana Jones license is a quarter or even half of that, you can already tell that this is going to be an expensive game. So it makes sense that you basically take the time to go ahead and put the game wherever you can sell copies. To leave it on your platform when your platform is basically half of the competition's platform in terms of the number of sales of units doesn't make any sense fiscally. In fact, it's irresponsible. If you're managing Xbox, any of you out here, you would not dare do that. Why? Because you've paid for development of this game or partially for it, or Bethesda did, and then acquisition of the license and then profit sharing. You guys are not remembering that Spider-Man, every copy sold, Marvel makes a chunk of change from PlayStation and Insomniac. So every time a copy of Indiana Jones is sold, most of that profit is not going to be going to Xbox. And to try to wait for somebody to buy a discounted, or I guess I would say, a subsidized console to then wait for months to recoup your pay is just a death blow from a math perspective. If your wallet was Microsoft's wallet, you would not think or dare do that. Imagine this. You open a lemonade stand, say, for your own school, but you have people who are in another school who like your lemonade, right? Well, why not sell it to those people who want your lemonade instead of sitting with your lemonade stand in your own school when you bear all of the risk, you bear everything in terms of the cost, and you bear all of what is entailed in terms of management and everything. You go there and you sell your lemonade to anybody who wants to buy it. This is the approach that Microsoft has taken. They've taken this approach for many years, and it's paid off for them. In fact, if it wasn't for this approach, there wouldn't be any Xbox today, because it's this approach that's made them profitable, because they're taking their other software and services wherever those software and services need to go. Hence, the profits that they've made from those software and services being available in other places has basically allowed for Microsoft today to thrive. So if Microsoft's Xbox is not going to align itself with a strategy that Microsoft has used to be successful, and even many other businesses used to be successful, then it's going to die. It really is going to die. This is the approach that needs to be seen by OG Xbox people. And don't worry. You don't have to worry about the game going to another platform. You bought the Xbox platform because you wanted the Xbox platform, isn't it? If you bought the Xbox platform for a whole different reason, to basically play keeps, oh, my games are more than yours, your games are more than mine, then you're probably starting to lose sight of what being a gamer truly is. If Microsoft and Xbox melted down today, what would you do? You wouldn't play video games anymore if you wanted to? Is that basically what you're saying in this regard? Please, let's ensure that we're looking at this from a very strategic perspective to understand exactly where Microsoft is going with all of this. Because if we don't, we're going to fall into this trap of playing console wars instead of looking at things from the mindset saying, okay, this is where things are going. And I think the inevitable is basically what a lot of people are probably skittish about. You need to get a gaming PC at the end of the day. People keep saying you need a PC and a PS5. No, you don't. You need a PC and a second PC. That's what you need, because the gaming scene is changing and the landscape has changed drastically. Everybody is now a third-party publisher. I know people were saying Xbox is going to be a third-party publisher. PlayStation has been a third-party publisher since 2016 when they dropped that Helldivers 1 game on PC. And so it's not anything new. Even Xbox themselves has been dropping their games on PC forever. Flight Simulator is older than Microsoft Office. Do you hear me? So for those who may be talking about, oh, yeah, please go back, look very strategically, see if this is something that's working. And I think it is. Sea of Thieves showed it. Helldivers 2 showed it, that you have to move and spread across and meet gamers where they are. Yes, somewhat conservatively, depending on how your business and strategy is, but Xbox doesn't have that luxury. They need aggression, full-blown aggression. They need to drop 5 games on PlayStation every single year if they possibly can. This is how I think they're going to basically match PlayStation and get their ecosystem very attractive and possibly build Game Pass. Because by the time their games start looking really juicy and people realize, I can't buy all these games, how about I just pay $20? How about I just pay $16.99 with an Amazon Fire Stick and I can stream basically everything in Xbox's library? Or I build myself a gaming PC and I get this, or I buy myself a Series S. It's a sustainable strategy if things work out well and, maybe we don't have a meltdown or something crazy happens. But these are my thoughts. I would like for you, if you have any, I would say refutation to it, to basically cite a possible alternative. Because if you're saying, let's go back to doing the, console thing where we're gonna lock it to our platform and then we expect PlayStation players to go build a PC or to buy an Xbox Series X and S, then that's the strategy that's been used in the past that seemingly has just not worked. As many of you may think it's working for PlayStation, it's not. You looked at the data and saw that both PlayStation and Xbox fans are playing Call of Duty, EA Sports, Valorant, and Epic Games' Fortnite, and all these games that are not PlayStation games. It's PC that's even carrying PlayStation right now with Helldivers. PlayStation players are not playing their own Helldivers live service game in the face of other live service games. So I don't see how this is something that we're confused about. This is a clear, direct channel and a vision of exactly where Xbox is going. And what's shocking is that the Xbox fans don't see it. Thanks for watching the video. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.